Hi, Tricia, Casper here with Minnie, and we are at Dog Q&A 23 today. And behind me we have our neighborhood Woof Pack Walk. And we're going to, instead of doing a live stream of the entire hour walk, what we're going to do is feature each dog. I'll get a little, talk to each owner, have them tell me about their dogs, get a little information about, from Paul about the walk and how it started. And then my husband Jeremy, who's doing the camera today, is going to cut it together for us, and then I will post it later today. So behind me you can see all the dogs getting ready, and most are in costumes, and Minnie here's in her costume, and I've got her in a blanket too because she's so cold. It is probably 40 degrees today, so everybody's a little wound up because that's what happens to dogs when it's cold. And hopefully you can enjoy this. We can keep the live stream on for a little bit, and then we'll shut it off, and then we'll make a video and post it later today. So, happy Halloween, everyone. All right, we'll walk over and get this party started. Okay, so you're gonna see a man named Charlie who has a box of cookies. There's a little bench here that's been dedicated to him, and he doesn't have a dog, but he loves a dog, so he's here every week to give out the cookies to the dog.
There's Jake.
And this is Paul, Jurassic Park Ranger, who started this whole thing.
He's got a smoking wagon dog. Pat, make sure you follow the tickets on our Fitness Prize raffle drawing.
So each week they also do a food drive, so you can come and bring your canned foods to donate. Today they're doing a raffle for a prize, I guess. And one thing you'll notice, I'll just mention this, is that the culture here is still very correction collar based and very correction based in the way they work with dogs. So as trainers here, that's one thing we're trying to change. Oh, Minnie lost her hat. Is trying to show people the benefits of not going the correction route and going to the positive route. So now we'll take a look at Paul and see what he has to say.
Thank you all for coming today, and all the dogs look really fantastic in their costumes. Yeah, let's introduce a few of the dogs in their costumes. Over here we have Yuri, is the Red Devil dog. And Brenda is the Bunny, Easter Bunny.
No, right.
Bailey as the Lumberjack. Lucy as the Ladybug. Starfire as Wonder Woman. Harper as the Rodeo Cowboy. Marley as a pumpkin. Rocket as a monster. Jake as a poop factory. Maddie and Bub as the Calico Cats with Barb. Oh, we also have a hot dog in the crowd. And of course we have the big roaring black lion, Stormy. Stormy is also a BLM, Black Labs Matter. Uh-oh, we got a bumblebee over here. Sissy, and we have Cinderella.
That's so cute.
Just one more coming up here. Zeus and Nikita. We also have Shamrock, Remy, Wrecker, and Leo as the squirrel. Oh, and Charlie and the skeleton robot.
There's Charlie.
We also want to welcome and thank Tricia and Casper and her husband for doing their first live podcast with us today. So she'll be moving around and interviewing a few dogs and their owners. Also, this is the last day of our Woof Pack October food drive, which has been really successful. We've collected over $1,000 worth of food that we've donated to St. Joseph and Ann.
This is
So thank
Jesse,
you everyone who donated.
who is a dog trainer here. And he has
So how many
Remy,
people voted early?
the most
on the
neutral
election?
dog ever in this group.
Anybody?
And you can see how the dogs react to Remy. They have no reaction at all. That tells you that dog is extremely neutral in his temperament and personality. They just avoid him because he draws no attention.
Tonight at 5 o'clock, we're also going to have a driveway kind of Halloween party over here at number 9 Glenview Drive. If anybody needs something to do, stop on by. Little Halloween joke. Why do demons like to hang around with ghouls? Because demons are a ghoul's best friend. We still have a few more coming up here. We have Pepper. And today and tonight are also the blue moon. Does anybody know where the blue moon is? Anyone?
You know.
The blue moon is 2 cycles of the full moon in the same month.
We did not.
It's also
Just looked that up last night.
We popped back 1 hour. Okay, we got a few more coming over here.
So while we assemble here, Paul will give the announcements for the group, the rules, and so you can see there's this wagon that goes along with poop. On the back, there's like a little bucket, and then there are treats inside and water. So halfway through the walk, we do a water break and stop and give all the dogs water. And it's only a mile, so it's a half mile up and a half a mile back, just in this neighborhood. And when a car comes, Paul blows a whistle, and then everybody moves to the side.
Minnie looks so content.
Minnie. She loves being held, so this is literally her favorite day of all time. Gets carried in a blanket by her mommy. Best thing ever. And the costume's just a bonus.
And what is she? She's
Minnie is a UPS driver.
that
She'll
is
tip her hat to you.
that is ridiculous.
Can't you see her arms?
Oh yeah, we can see them.
She might fall asleep in this hour.
I think she's already falling asleep.
She just sighed. When she sighs, it means she's content. Everybody's very wound up. So the black dog over here is Stormy.
Everyone, please be sure to call
Stormy
the raffle
loves
ticket here. We're having an attendance prize drawing in just a few minutes. Make sure you fill out your ticket.
The weather just dropped the temperature in the last week or so, so our dogs are a little bit more excited than they normally are.
How's it going?
Okay, so I think what we'll do now is we'll sign off for the live video, and then we'll go on the walk. We'll make videos of each of the dogs and their people, anyone who wants to come on camera and talk about their pets, and then we'll cut it together and post it later. So keep an eye out for that. And happy Halloween, everyone, and I'll see you next week. Bye. Bye. So this is a weekly neighborhood dog walk, basically. So one person who you met earlier, Paul, started this, and these are just people that live around the neighborhood that bring their dogs over, and they just go on a walk together. So we'll have to talk to Paul later, find out how this began, and let him tell us the story. And you'll notice when the dogs are moving all in the same direction like this, that they're more calm and neutral, and now they're distracted and sniffing the ground and ignoring each other more. Come here. And that's why when you introduce dogs, you should walk them together, because then there's less of a chance for an issue versus when we were all standing around together. You could tell they were more interested in each other and more excitable, and so a walk keeps them more distracted and less focused on each other. So that's how you should introduce dogs when you first, instead of letting them meet face to face, take them on a walk together. So we're doing a ghost hunt on the walk, and I just found one. Yay! So now I'm going to turn this in for a token. I don't know what I win, but we'll see. Stormy barks when she's not getting a cookie, and she gets near a cookie. And her dad is pulling the tractor of cookies, so she's quite demanding of her dad. So this is Jesse.
Hi.
Jesse's a trainer in the area, specializing in aggression and separation anxiety sometimes. And I'm going to let him talk to you a little bit about Rammy, his super neutral dog.
So Rammy does half the work for me. No, I'm kidding. Although I did just meet a client that I'm going to work with. I met them here at the walk last week. Their dog didn't really get along with other dogs much. It couldn't be close up with them. But their dog and Rammy became good friends right away, because Rammy's just so calm and doesn't mind anybody. So their dog, I think, felt comfortable with that. And that kind of underlines one of the themes in a lot of the work I do, is as opposed to what some people think about typical quote-unquote obedience training, where a lot of the focus is the consequences of behavior. People will talk about rewards or punishments, hopefully rewards more often, but it's all about the consequences. A lot of what I do in working with dogs with aggression or anxiety is focused more on what I'd call the motivation. If a dog acts out in what looks like aggression, it's likely because they're afraid or uncomfortable with something. And our goal is to make them then more comfortable with that, so they don't feel a need to lunge or bark or whatever it may be that they're doing. One of the big challenges with that, and this will differ in different parts of the country as I've traveled around the country, is a lot of the tools that people will tend to use, like their first line of defense, sometimes are tools like prong collars, shock collars, which really fuel the problems. And in some cases, they actually create the problems. So I always encourage people to really steer clear of those as much as possible. Now you can definitely argue that there are responsible and appropriate ways to use them, but anytime you're working with a dog with aggression or anxiety, you've got to get rid of all those things that are going to be feeding that fear or pain or situations like that.
Now tell me why you use a long line to walk Rammy.
Mainly because I'm lazy. And it gives him range. Sometimes he wants to speed up or slow down. He wants to stop and sniff. So it's just, it provides a little much more of a margin of error, a little buffer zone. But in a lot of what we call leash reactive dogs that tend to look aggressive primarily on a leash, a lot of that comes from barriers or boundaries. We impose all kinds of constraints on dogs. Leashes, fences, even I sometimes talk about social constraints. A dog feels a need to stay close to their owner so they don't feel like they can just walk away from something that they're uncomfortable with. And in those cases, using a long line as part of a larger technique allows the dog to feel a little more independent, that they can, if they don't like something, they can just walk the other way. In fact, just maybe 10 minutes ago on this walk, my dog Rammy, who's very comfortable with most things, he was a little suspicious about these big orange bags of leaves in somebody's yard. But with a long line, he kind of looked at it a little tensely and made this little arc, this little half circle around them, observing them from different angles. And then he just said, okay, I'm fine, and walked off.
Because he had freedom to make a decision
freedom to make choices.
To go away.
Where if he were on a short leash, there would be a lot of potential, either that he wouldn't feel that freedom, or that just the incidental or accidental tension on the leash because of how short it is would fuel the anxiety, which is another recurring theme. A lot of, even any bit of tension on a leash, whether it's on a harness or a collar or corrective devices at the worst, but even on a harness or collar, any tension on the leash can really fuel a lot of reactivity or responsiveness in the dog.
Well said. Thank you, Jesse. This is Paul, and he started the Woof Pack Walk. Tell us how this happened.
All right, we started with just a core group of about 5 neighbors that lived right in the immediate area. Steve, of course, is his house right here. Then we had Barb and Barb's mom's house. And we just kind of got together and realized that we were all walking our dogs at the same time every day. And it kind of grew from there. And more than 2.5 years later, here we are today.
Do you do other events throughout the year?
We do, and after this we'll have a Thanksgiving walk, then we'll do a Christmas walk too. We do a Christmas night walk where we go around and check out the lights of all the houses in the neighborhood as well.
I love that.
Everybody's welcome to join. We're on nextdoor.com. We currently have 875 members on that group right now, and growing.
And who is back here barking?
Oh, that is Stormy. Today she was the roaring lion who loves to
And that's your dog?
bark. And my dog Stormy, she's 3 years old now.
And where did you get her?
We got her from a breeder out in Marthasville, Missouri.
Oh, okay.
It was Stormy that day, so the name kind of fit with the bark and the dog.
That's perfect for her.
Right.
All right, thanks, Paul. This was
sure.
so much fun.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for the Halloween version of the walk. And I hope you had fun and enjoyed seeing the dogs in their costumes. And I will see you next week for the next dog Q&A. Bye-bye.